Hello and welcome to Nemo's Views. In my job as a bus driver, I'm on the roads an awful lot, a lot more than I would probably like to be. I was driving around this morning and once again this is not going to be a vlog to just bash cyclists, but there was a situation happening and a cyclist went just hacking past me easily, and I was in a bus, so he couldn't see what was happening around, and he must have scudded past me easily doing a minimum of 30 miles an hour, and he couldn't see what I could see. I didn't even see where he'd come from. I'd driven down the road at a reasonable speed, not anything, well, probably around the 25-mile-an-hour mark, because I wasn't in an enormous rush, because I did have plenty of time on this particular service. And this cyclist couldn't see what I could see, and he went steaming past. And I thought, nobody in this town has got a clue about road safety. The town where I live, the town where I drive buses, the people have not got a lick of road sense, not a bit of it. They're all just scudding around in their own little dream world, their own little fantasy land, where everything is good and everything is wonderful. And and it's not like that. The real world is cold and ugly, and cars pull out when you don't expect them, and cars crash into cyclists and cyclists crash into cars. I've seen people hit by cars. I've seen cars hit cars. I've seen all sorts of things, and people will not wait. They simply will not wait. They won't wait to cross the road. They won't wait to pull out of junctions. They won't wait to move off. They will just simply do what they want to do when they want to do it. The whole indicator thing in the UK is the indicator is a way of saying, I would like to change lanes. I would like to move off. I would like to change direction. Now, when I was learning to drive, it was a case of you shouldn't do any maneuver that causes somebody else to stop, swerve, or slow down. And I see all of that on a daily basis. These people, they're so unbelievably selfish and self-centered. They will not wait. Now, you could say, well, they're only holding you up for 10 seconds, but why should I wait 10 seconds when it's them that they want to do the turn in the road. They want to fanny around. They want to do what they want to do. Why should I wait? It's only 10 seconds. It wouldn't hurt me to wait. But when it's an accumulation of waiting for these idiots, these selfish, self-centered, inconsiderate, it's all about me morons, it does get rather jarring. It gets grating. And it's the same with pedestrians. The main focus of this vlog is about pedestrians and the Green Cross Code. When I was a child, we was taught the Green Cross Code in school. It was hammered home to us on the telly. You would be watching your children's programs, on a Saturday morning or a weekday evening when you got in from school before the news come on, and there would be adverts for the Green Cross Code. Stop, look, and listen. You look both ways up and down the road. You look in both directions. You wait. You don't step out from between parked cars. I see all of these things where people step out from between parked cars. They'll see a bus driving along, and then they'll walk around the car and they'll swing the door open because they want to get in, or they'll swing the passenger door open, the rear passenger door, so they can load their kids from the roadside. They've got no road sense at all. The average pedestrian is as thick as mince and twice as stupid. Stop, look, and listen. You stand on the edge of the curb, but not right on the edge. You stand close where the curbstone usually is, and you stop and you look and you listen, and you don't run across the road. You don't run into the road. But these children are not taught this, and because I suppose the generation after mine haven't been taught this, they simply do not know how to cross the road. When my children were very small, I would teach them that, yes, you're in a one-way street, but you still look both ways before you step. Yes, you're in a one-way street. Yes, it's a protected crossing. Yes, you still look both ways. You don't just blindly step into the road. You look both ways before you step. And people are just simply not taught this, and children are not taught this. You know, with my nieces and nephews and my grandchildren, I always try to teach them, if I'm walking around with them, out with them, whatever, I will always try and teach them, stop, look, listen, look both ways. You don't just step. But kids are just not taught this. The generation coming after mine hasn't really been taught it, because they don't teach the Green Cross Code. They'll teach you how to do fractions and decimals and long division and long multiplication, which are absolutely pointless in the real world. They don't teach you about crossing the road safely, so you can put these newfound skills with decimals into practice. I've seen plenty of people, um, and it's horrible when it happens. You see people hit by cars. I saw a teenage girl, an older teenage girl, just run into the road. She got hit by a great big four-wheel drive. She lived, and I think she was just, luckily, the big four-wheel drive was just turning he was just going through the junction, turning left, and he was only going very, very slowly. But she just ran into the road, and he said to me, he was all shocked and shaken up and everything, and he said, she just run out. And I said, yeah, I know, I saw it. I said, the cameras on the bus saw it. Yeah, he said, but she just run. And I said, I know. And it's horrible. Happily and luckily and fortunately, it hasn't happened to me. But it is entirely possible, no matter how good you think you may be, it's entirely possible for a child, a teenager, to just change their minds and cross the road. You have to be wary. You have to be looking for it. You have to be observing all the time. You can't just scud along not looking. You have to be paying attention. You have to be reading people, the pedestrians, the cyclists. What's on the other side of the road that this little kid on my left, is he attached to his parent? Is he got reins? Is he holding the hand? Is he attached? Is he going to want to run over there? If you see a ball come bouncing out into the road, you're driving down a public street, you see a ball, there's going to be a kid running after it in a couple of seconds. So, but people are just not taught this. They're not taught these critical skills. I mean, kids, if a kid's ball goes out of control in the garden, they're gonna chase after it. That's the way it works. It's down to us adults to limit the risk by thinking, well, there's a ball, there's a football, there's going to be a kid running after it any second, and there it is. Not just, oh, well, there's a ball, I'm just going to scud down the road anyway at 40 miles an hour. But people are just not crossing the road properly. It's a basic life skill, how to cross the road. It should be taught in lessons. It should be taught in school. It should be on the telly. It's all right saying, well, cars nowadays, they're more pedestrian friendly, they're curvier, they're rounder, look like the old days when cars were designed on an Etch-a-Sketch, it seems. We need to be teaching children, yes, cars are safer. And yes, they don't have aerials in the front wing like the cars used to. And yes, we don't have these, not a lot of cars now have these bonnet or hood ornaments, and it's gonna hurt, but you probably won't die, because cars are designed now, so you probably won't die, but you'll get battered and bruised, and like the young lady I saw get hit by a car, that big four-wheel drive, you'll get battered, you will hurt, you'll end up in hospital all day. She was off, because she was running. The story is, she was running for my bus. I'd left the bus stop, and she saw the bus leaving as she walked around the corner, and she just hit legs to try and catch my bus, which is why I was in position to see her get hit by the car. She walked around the corner, the car was going around the corner, she saw me, she hit legs, the car hit her, she hit the ground. You know, and she was sort of laying in the gutter, and it's not a very dignified place for a teenage schoolgirl to be, but it happened, and luckily she didn't bear any sort of long-term effects as far as I'm aware. So that was a good thing. But it could have been so different if she'd have bashed her head on the way down, the back of her head. She could have had some sort of catastrophic brain injury. You know, the possibilities are just infinite. That, you know, the way it could have, the other ways that incident could have ended up. So, you know, people just need to be careful. You need to be careful out there. You need to be conscious that large vehicles, buses and trucks and things can't just stop. You know, as much as we'd like to, you know, jump on the brakes and stop, and, you know, I've driven trucks and buses, and you know, things happen. You can't just simply stand on the brakes and come to a complete stop in an instant. It just doesn't work. So people need to be conscious when they're on the out and about on the pavements. You want to cross the road, please be careful. We need to teach the Green Cross Code. That is the main thrust of it. We need to teach the Green Cross Code, and we need to teach road sense, not just to school children, but to everybody. Road sense is, you've got to be careful. You step out and a car will hit you, and that's that. It could be the end of you. So please be careful out there. It really is a horrible, cold, savage, brutal world, and we all need to look out for each other. We are our brother's keeper, but we need to look out for each other. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.